what does it look like when somebody goes against a former U.S. Navy sonar supervisor? We're going to see that today, thanks to the multiplayer mod, and thanks to Ian, who's modified this mission for us. We're going against Wolfpack345. You might have heard of him. He's got great simulation content. I've watched him since he had probably like 10,000 subs, and he's massive now for a great reason. His stuff is pretty cinematic. He does a lot of submarine stuff. He plays a lot of naval games, but he also plays some flight sims. He also does tank sims. And we're going to see how he does against me. I was a former sonar supervisor, actually on this very OHP, the USS Rentz. And we're tasked with transiting the strait. It's similar to the Palawan Passage mission, which is mission 3 in the task force mode for sea power. This was modified by Ian so that we can do 1v1. And Wolfpack is going to be in a Soviet submarine, and I've got to make it through, and hopefully we come across and kill him pretty quickly.
Here's a quick question. Did you see that?
See what?
Okay. That's all. I raised a particular mast on accident.
Oh, no.
Apparently. Yeah. Okay.
I'm doing some sneaky stuff, so some things I won't be able to see.
Okay, gotcha.
Alright, so that was about all the communication we had during the match until it was finished. We set up a little bit beforehand, and it was kind of funny, and I wish I had it on recording. When I asked Wolfpack if he wanted to do this mission because Ian had created it for us, he was a little hesitant because he was saying that, you know, ASW is pretty slow going. And I almost interrupted him, but I did tell him, like, after that was, don't worry about it. Like, I'm pretty sure I'll kill you pretty quickly, just because it's a strait, and if the idea is that we need to cross the strait, he's going to want to be in that area. So I drew a datum around the center of the strait, and I put it out for, I think, like 15 or 20 nautical miles, and that was for me to know within an hour if he ran 20 knots, he'd potentially be in any of that space. And the concern was that he would try to gun it going westbound. And you can kind of see from my waypoints I got like zigzags and stuff in them. But the idea was that I would, as we're heading down, I didn't go straight down into the strait. I wanted to come at it at an angle going out to the west. And the reason for that is so that my towed array can actually look into the strait. And we would hopefully catch Wolfpack if he was gunning it to try and get out of the strait. The reason that's a concern is because there's deeper water there, so if he was able to make it into deeper water, it's easier for him to hide, right? Because he can go very deep and just kind of sit there and pop up when he wants to take a look, and that's going to be difficult for us to catch him in the act because he's going to have to pop up to take a look at us, but we're also going to have to be like really honed in and looking at the right spot when he's doing that to catch him. So that was a concern that he would run out there, so I wanted to make sure the towed array was watching that direction. We have a helicopter. The way that this is set up, I only have one helicopter, and it's not ready to go at the beginning, so I've got 30 minutes for it to get ready for ASW operations, and that kind of sucked because obviously the first thing I would want to do is throw buoys into the strait right now so that I could immediately see what he's trying to do. If he was going 20 knots and I threw some dive-fire buoys in there, they would absolutely catch him. The way that I would space that out, which we'll see when I actually get to launch 30 minutes later, is I kind of want to do a barrier search with the buoys, and then granted the SH2s don't have a lot, so you can't throw out a big buoy field, and you've got to remember you want to preserve some for when you're actually prosecuting a submarine, so you can't just spit them all out because like I said earlier, we only have one helicopter. So if I was to spit all the buoys in like a perfect line to cover the strait, the downside to that tactic is now I've got to go back to the ship, wait another X amount of time for the service of the helicopter, and then 30 more minutes for it to get prepped for another ASW mission, so on and so forth. So in the future, I think that we'll get hot pumps and rearms and stuff while the helicopter's still turning, because it really shouldn't take that long in real life to spin the helicopter up for another sortie. In fact, when you're doing training scenarios out at sea with the air crews, a lot of times if they're trying to just get all their pilots to do a certain amount of touch and goes and landings or whatever for getting the check in the box for their mandatory training requirements, you'll see one helicopter fly, and they'll just keep it going. They'll spin up, and then they'll get the next crew on board. They'll do their touch and goes. They'll land. It'll still be going. They'll swap the crews out, and they'll just keep going on forth like that. So now we got the helicopter up, and it is time for us to come all the way down south. I've got the ship and the helicopter at MCON, and the reason for that is I don't want my radar to give me away in case he does raise the ESM mast. I want to somehow blend in with the other noise. Well, there's a lot of shipping traffic around us, but there are sampans. There's only like a few big boats, I think, that are around us. And anyways, the flight path I'm taking with my helicopter, I don't want it to come directly from the ship. So I flew it kind of off, did some different course changes, and then started to come down into the strait where we're getting ready for our buoy drops. Also, I wanted to figure out some of these merchants, so if we were going to fly over them, I could see who's what. Obviously, larger merchants are going to make more noise, and the sampans aren't going to be so noisy. So here we see the setup of the Difars. So right now, I was guessing that if he was to head out, he probably wouldn't have got too far, but this would be in the general area of where I suspected he would have made it to if he was able to get out. And so you can see here there's also whales, so we can't just go blasting any sort of sonar contacts we get. And I think he has slowed down the time, so I don't know like what he was going after. Whenever you see that, it's kind of worrisome because you don't know if he's setting up for a launch already. Because if he did make it out into the strait, we're only 20 nautical miles or so from the strait. So that's, if he has a long-range waycomber, I think some of those go 30 nautical miles or more. He's definitely going to be within range to shoot at us. If he shot at max range like that or close to max range, I don't think he would be successful in hitting us or anything like that. But it's certainly a concern. And especially if I don't see anything yet, and now the time compression has gone back up, I imagine he's fired. If he has fired, he's really happy, just waiting for his shots to get downrange. We have the towed array out, so I'm hoping that if there was a launch, that we would be able to detect it. So we're not altering course like drastically right now for the Rentz. In fact, my goal with the Rentz is to move it towards the west so that we can see down into the strait, like I said earlier. But also use some of that merchant traffic as cover, in case he has a hard time detecting who we exactly are. Give him risky choices to fire waycombers towards us when we've got big ships around us. Granted, some of those are sampans. I think some of those are larger ships. We do get some noise contact off one of the buoys that's warranting a little investigation here. I am watching what the contacts are doing to see if they make sense, and that's the fun thing about the multiplayer mod. If you are playing against a human being, you understand their objective, which is to kill you. Right now in Sea Power, some of the stuff that kind of falls flat is the AI working off of waypoints that the mission creator has designed. It has nothing against mission designers or anything like that. It's just the way the game works. They have to guess what they think the player's going to do and build waypoints to create some sort of conflict, like the contact's going to roll into you, so you've got to engage it, right? When you're going against a human being, we know his overall goal, Wolfpack's goal, is to sink our ship, right? So we're guessing that he's probably going to want to close us somehow to get into range, right? And that's what makes it fun, because then I can now predict kind of accurately where I think he's going to try to be. If this was the AI, they would just be working off of waypoints that tell them to sail out into the strait and come where they think I'm probably going to be. But of course, I'm a human, so I can change what I'm going to do. And the AI is not going to be able to respond to that if they're simply driving down waypoints. We can avoid conflict that way if we wanted to. But with Wolfpack, he's going to try and close us to shoot at us, right? No doubt. And we just got to find that position that he's doing that in. So a little time has passed now, and our helicopter has figured out where some of these whales are. We've got some ships out there. I'm pulling Rentz around, all the way around down south, and coming up into the strait from the southwest. The reason I want to do that is this will give us a broad sweep of our towed array, because it's going to go a beam of the strait. So we're going to look into the strait with our towed array. Then we'll see Wolfpack if he's there. If he's sitting there, hopefully we can catch him while he's trying to be quiet or something. And then we're going to come in at a lower angle from the southwest, and that to me is, I think if you were going against a human player, that would kind of throw them off, because they're expecting you to probably come in from the northwest direction if you're just going a straight line. Now, we're sitting here with our 3 buoys blocking the strait, and we're not getting anything. So now the other thing I'm thinking about is if Wolfpack didn't make it out to the strait, if he thought that was too risky, the next thing I think a human would try to do is sit around the corners of the terrain. So the islands that border that strait on the far side of him, so he can sit there quietly and just wait for us to pass. And once we pass, he can take some shots at us and shoot at us this way. So I'm gonna search around this island, Ballback Island, and we're gonna drop a buoy, and it's gonna be something that, well, we've got some whales we still need to investigate, but all of a sudden we dropped that buoy near the island, and there's certainly a submarine contact there. You can see with the whales, their speed and their movements are kind of erratic, and so I know that other unknown contact that turns into a whale down south, I knew that was a whale really, and didn't have to worry too much about it the way it was moving around. Now, the stuff that is pretty funny how closely it translates to real life is I suspected that was a submarine, even though it was unknown at the time when I dropped that buoy, because he was going a very clear course and speed, right? The whales, they shift around and stuff, and that's what you would expect to see biologic stuff do in real life.
Already? Man, that ain't good.
I told you, man.
Wow. I didn't hear your helicopter above me or anything. But I guess he wasn't right above the water.
Yeah, no, I was a few miles away from you when I picked you up on one of the passive buoys, and then that was it.
Wow, wow. That's crazy.
It is pretty cool going against a human, because like the AI sub commanders, they'll just do whatever, like random waypoint stuff, but you can, with human players, you understand that they're trying to kill you, so like you can kind of plan that way.
Yeah, well, I never picked you up, I don't think.
Yeah, I think from you, yeah, I was, I don't know if you can see all the sampans that are like west of Ballback Island.
Yeah.
I'm like on the outskirts of where those sampans are, like outside of them, maybe like 30 miles away from you.
Oh wow, okay, that far.
Well, that was pretty cool.
Man, yeah.
I think it just puts you in a bad spot, because I think you really don't have any depth options, so like...
No, I mean, the water was, maybe 100 feet deep, and my first thought was, I gotta find deeper water. And then, I can wait. So I was kind of hauling ass at 10 knots to try to get to deep water, and I was hoping you were further away than you were, obviously.
Yeah, I assumed that you were going to go run for deep water, so I drew a pretty big circle at like 20 nautical miles around the center of the strait, and I figured you were going to eventually seek that stuff out, and then that's just kind of where I need to search for.
Yeah, I was talking about it, because this was potential video. You can upload it. It ain't fun gameplay for me. Oh, man. Like, I hear your helicopter now. Is he hovering?
Yeah, I'm hovering like 3 miles from you. Yeah, in real life, it's like you can... It's a big gap between, like, if I'm at 200 feet and the amount of noise crossing into the water, it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, cool.
Yeah, nice. So you want to try something else now? Because this is pretty slow going, but it's fun.
Yeah, I'm still alive, by the way. I managed to surface.
Let me just finish off really quick here.
We have something now. How about you don't? How about you?
Yeah, so there you have it. Wolfpack kind of confirmed he was in a bad spot when he spawned and he had to run to deeper waters, which is kind of cool. It confirmed what we suspected. He ran north, though, and if he had run west into the strait, I think he probably would have made it more dangerous for us, because him running north where he was kind of locked him in, because there might be a nook of like deeper water there, but any maneuvering to come back into position to fire at us would require he'd come into shallower waters and kind of expose himself some more, and he wouldn't be able to maneuver freely if we did detect him and shoot at him. So he was kind of stuck there. If he was out in open ocean, I mean, the turnaround times with the helicopter, the servicing time plus the reload outs would have taken us out of the game for a little bit of time, maybe like in excess of an hour. And that's a lot of time for a Victor 3 to get into a dangerous spot to fire wakecombers at you at long range. So it was pretty cool playing against a human. And in fact, if you like my channel, there's no doubt that you probably already watch Wolfpack345, but I'm going to say it anyways. If you magically don't watch his stuff for whatever reason and you like my stuff, then prepare to be blown away, because he does gameplay stuff for Sea Power, but he also does all the other simulation type games. In fact, that's why I've watched him for so long, because it's just really enjoyable stuff. So it's really cool that I got to play against him. So big thanks to Wolfpack345. Big thanks to Ian for making this mission modified for us to play 1v1 like this. This was really neat. And big thanks to the multiplayer mod creator, malfboi. Adding multiplayer to this game was something I wanted from day one, and the mod has been out for a little bit of time now. It's just getting better and better. And there's a quick start mod also by Clink123, and that mod we end up playing right after this, and we do a SAG versus SAG, and that goes on for like 2 hours. So I'll probably cut up a video for that, and maybe Wolfpack will show his side as well. But it was a pretty fun brawl, but it lasted a long time. So it's gonna be like this, where I just talk over it and some bits and pieces of it, because there's no way that I can talk live for like 2 hours straight like that. Yeah, so the key points happen in a smaller amount of time. The rest is kind of just setting up for the maneuvering space and stuff like that. But anyways, if you want to see more multiplayer stuff, let me know. For me, it's like my bread and butter. I've always played multiplayer games, especially combat games, and it's great we can do that in naval combat now. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll get to them as soon as possible. See you next one. Bye.